Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Real Estate Happy Hour. I am your host, Chris Wright. And man, I love social media, as you all know. I love content creation. I love branding. That's one of the biggest things that I do in my business of real estate. And I happen to have a really, really good friend who I've known for years, that's his job. Can you imagine doing something you love? What's the saying? That when you're doing something you love, you never have to have a job or something to that effect. You know it. But the biggest thing is that the fear of public speaking and the fear of social media going live and putting yourself on camera. It is said that it's more fearful than death to some people. And I want to talk to you guys about branding and social media content and marketing yourself through video and things like that. And I'm going to talk to a professional who does this for a living today. And his name is Nathaniel Greklek. And the reason I didn't butcher his name is because I actually worked with him in the DJ arena. So I just wanted to talk to him today, and maybe he'll give you some pointers on how to better do that, or either hiring someone to do that for you. But we are going in a direction in society, in life, in our current universe, where branding yourself and showing your face and showing your personality is hugely, hugely important. Most people that hire businesses, they hire them because they like them. They also want you to have a level of professional acumen, of course, but they usually hire you because they like you. So, with that being said, right after we do our introduction, we are going to meet Nathaniel Greklek. I'll see you guys on the other side. This is the Real Estate Happy Hour, and I'm your host, Chris Wright. It's a fun place where we talk real estate, pop culture, and what's trending. Hey, I might even give you some good advice, so grab yourself a drink, sit back, relax, and take a listen. Unless you're driving, of course. I'll see you guys on the other side. Nathaniel, how you doing,
What's
brother?
up? How's it going, everybody?
Yo, man,
This is
I
fun.
always love reconnecting with people. You know, you lose touch for years, and then you
Yeah.
reconnect. You're like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And you find out they're doing something very, very interesting. So I'm glad to have you on today. We sat in Mocha Lisa's cafe. We chatted a little bit about doing this, and I was like, you know what, you are just the guest that I want to have. So before we get started, why don't you tell me a little bit about what you do and how that works out for you?
Yeah. So, hey, everybody. My name is Nathanael Greklek. I'm the Chief Digital Branding Leader at Mohawk Auto Group, Mohawk Honda, Mohawk Chevrolet, Moving Ads, Rap Kings, and the Mohawk Collision Center. So, essentially, we have a full team of content creators on the Mohawk Auto Group. We're making videos and photos and content just for all the platforms across social media at the current moment. So that's what I do on a daily with the team that we have.
That's awesome. I was listening to a podcast yesterday because you and I used to both work. I still work in the wedding industry, and I know you did too. But
Yeah.
something that's becoming really, really big is day of social media content. Has anyone ever talked to you about that?
No, I haven't heard that. That's interesting. That's shotgun social media at its
Yeah.
finest for sure.
I guess the content creator sets up Facebook page, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever. They set up all of the different platforms for the bride and groom, and they go to the wedding just like a photographer. And all they're doing is managing the whole social media aspect of it, making sure that the guests all have hashtags and things like that. But then the content creator is actually posting stuff on all of those platforms throughout the wedding. So I think I just created another business for you.
Wow, look at that. That's man, that to have that for one day.
One day.
Hey,
Pretty
listen, if it
fantastic, right?
works, if that's what people want, like let the market have what they want. That's what I say.
I actually, the last bridal show we did, I actually met a girl who was there that did that. And I was like,
Really?
yes, yes. And I said, what are you doing here? She said, well, I work with the photographer, but I'm her social media content creator. And I do the day of social media content. And she explained it all to me. And I said, Man, there is no reason to be broke in this world today because you can always think of a job.
Wow, that's man, I'm trying to think of like just keeping that there. There's like it's like its own website style for like forever, you know? You always can
Right.
come back to it. You don't have to have a you don't have to have your own home server like I have with all your stuff. You just go to social. I guess the only bad thing would be is if social decides to go away, but I'm for it. Listen, if someone wants to pay for it, go for it. That's what I
There you
say.
go. So tell me about now when I met you and we were at a DJ company together. Were
Yeah.
you in school or were you what were you doing back then? Because this we're talking what
Yeah,
7 years
10
ago, 2014
oh,
ish.
2014, I was just graduating college. It was before that too.
Okay.
Definitely. I was actually hired at an event I was at. Like um I was dancing and I was offered a job. That's how my DJing career got started.
Okay.
So
So
so then I
tell
was
me
like,
about your
yeah, all right.
journey from there to where you are now doing branding and content creation.
All right. Well, that's a long story. I'll try to make it short. So essentially as DJing, that's only a weekend gig. Plus I was doing school and I didn't have my own gear. So I was just a party motivator and eventually I got my own stuff but I was more along the lines of I was working three jobs. I worked at an after school daycare company in 2014. I also worked at the Riverfront Bar and Grill in downtown Albany. That's no longer there. And I also worked at Hollister.
Okay.
Well, it was YMCA. Then I went to TSL. And then that was like my full time job. And then during the summer, I would pick up shifts at the Riverfront Bar and Grill. And then
Hmm.
um, Hollister was just another way to fill in while I was in school. I don't like downtime. It's just the
Hmm.
way it's just the way I work.
Yeah.
Uh, so I filled my schedule whether it was at church or at work. So from there, I was working at the after school daycare company and I was kind of doing some DJing on the side still. So
Hmm.
I think I like kind of left probably 4 years ago. Every now and then I'll get a bride and groom that like remember me and they'll find me on Facebook randomly, like, can you come out of retirement for us? And at that point, it's like, all right, well, here's my price if you really want me to. And like, yeah, sure. And I was like, wow, I guess I should have went higher. But anyway, so I kind of left it about 4 years ago. I started working at Mohawk Honda. Well, let me backtrack because I'm trying to keep let me keep the timeline rolling. So
Yeah.
I'm in the after school daycare company. I leave that company to work for a for-profit giving company called Twill that started. So every product you bought from them, they would give to them. But it was a startup. I wasn't really making anything. And I also was valeting. So I left that, started valeting. Obviously, I left all those other jobs, but I was valeting and doing Twill. And Mohawk Honda sponsored a vehicle for Twill. So it was their
Hmm.
vehicle of warmth. They're a community sponsor. They're always in the community. That's really what we love to do. I say we because I'm a part of it now. But at the time I wasn't. I had made about 3 pieces of content for them as a part of Twill. And the salesperson at the time was like, hey, it looks like you're good at technology. Do you want a job?
Yeah.
He's like, we're hiring. It's like, yeah, sure, let's do it. Why not? I'll try it out. I don't want to
Right.
run. I don't want to run 16 miles a day anymore at valet. I'm good. I did my time there, and then I got hired as a delivery specialist at Mohawk Honda.
Hmm.
And while I was doing that, I kind of saw the need. Like they were posting a few things, and I kind of just wanted to help them build the social media
Right.
because I knew where it was. I'm a huge Gary Vaynerchuk fan, so I follow a
Hmm.
lot of what he does. And if you don't know who he is, you got to check him out. He's kind of like the staple of what it means to really dominate social media across all platforms. So
Right.
I'm always following what he's doing, trying to figure out how I can fit it into my plan and my profile for the group to help them, really dominate social media, especially in the local community.
Right.
So I pitched a new job position. They said yes, which was amazing. Didn't think that was going to happen.
Hmm.
And 7 years later, I'm still at Mohawk Auto Group. I
Yeah.
love it. It's really you try to get the quote there. It's if you love something, if you do something you love, you never work a day in your life. And that's really
That's
how
my
I
quote.
feel.
That's I couldn't remember how it went.
That's really
Yeah.
that's really how I
Yeah.
envision things,
Yeah.
because I love working for the Mohawk Auto Group. I love what they stand for. I love being a part of them. Really understanding and really understanding the ownership and the management and what their vision is to really bring the best customer experience. Like,
Hmm.
that's a company that I can brand for. That's a company that I can make content for, because I know that they're trying their best. I'm going to try my best and make sure
Yeah.
that everybody knows who you're going to see, what the process is going to look like, and who we are as a company. So that's really like my journey. Totally botched it, but that
No,
was the
that's
journey
fine.
that
That's
that
great.
got me
Well,
here.
this podcast, this YouTube video is not sponsored by Mohawk. However, I that's my car dealership of choice. I bought our and you've seen me there.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I've seen you there while we're making content. I'm
yeah,
pretty sure you're like sitting at. I'm like, dude, I gotta go make a video real quick. I'll be right back. Check in on you
I
later.
bought my last three cars from Mohawk. I was just there the other day, getting my car serviced. My wife even goes, "I didn't know that's where you got your oil changed." I'm like, "It's the only place I go." So anyway, and ironically, when we bought my wife's car, we bought it in the Clifton Park office when they were there,
Yeah,
and you moved to my town, Boston Spa. I was like, "You guys must know my love for you
represent.
is great." Yeah, right. So let's talk about because what people want to hear about, they want to hear about content creation. And the biggest
Mm.
thing people come up with is, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do. How do you decide on topics or themes for content?
So it's going to vary, obviously, depending on what industry you're in. But
Mm.
since you're in the real estate industry, let's give some value to the people that are actually going to watch your podcast, that are real estate agents, or whether they own a real estate company.
Or in the real
And
estate industry, because there's not only real estate agents, there's
yeah,
also
talk to
people in
me, because
insurance.
I'm not super familiar with the realty
Right.
industry. I understand that there's commercial. I
Mm.
understand that there's residential. I know that there's buyers and sellers, and
Right.
that's like the the level of my knowledge of realty and how that works. Obviously, I know there's
So
investors, and there's a whole other gamut of that. But
right.
yeah,
So
tell me
just
tell me what you want.
think about it like this: you're in the automotive industry. Now think
Right,
about all of the people that aren't car salesmen or don't sell cars, but you have people in service, you have people in
right,
title, you have DMV. So that's kind of like our vertical, where I'm a real estate agent, but we also have people who sell homeowners insurance. We have the attorneys that help with the contracts. We have
right,
people that do title. We have lenders or mortgage loan originators. So that's
right.
a whole industry. And we all are out there trying to get our brand out because we want the public to use us. So that's kind of, so you don't have to really, when you talk about this, you don't have to really focus on just that one profession. You can also talk about,
Right.
how would a homeowner's insurance person do this? How would a loan originator do this? So just go ahead and talk about how you come
Well,
up
we
with
got to
themes
pick
and
one,
topics.
because my brain will not be able to.
So pick
My
one.
brain does not function. So give me someone specific that we can help, because
Use a real estate
that's
agent. You know
the.
real estate agents.
We'll do a
You,
real estate agent. Here
yeah.
we go. So
Hmm.
real estate agents, and I'm not bashing them. I'm not, but every time I see a real estate agent post, it's literally a house. That's it. This house is for sale. This house is for sale. This house is for sale. But I never see anything else. You have, and this is kind of what I think about when we're selling cars, right?
Right.
When we're making content for the automotive industry, when I'm thinking about creating content for the the other 90% of people who aren't in the market, I have to make content for them.
Right.
I, of course, if I'm going to do an ad or some sort, that's a lower funnel. I'm going to post a house.
Mm.
And yes, I'm not saying don't post a house, but I'm saying there's so much other content you could be making,
Hmm.
you know, house organization, house insurance. What does house insurance look like? How
Right.
often should I check insurance? What are all of these? Think of how many people are influence the realty market,
Hmm.
decorations, landscapers, all of these people come together to make a house look beautiful. I think there's probably way more vendors on the realty side that people don't even think about. You have your
100%.
construction workers. There's all of these groups that you can bring together as a real estate agent.
Hmm.
So, all right, just for let's just start. We'll just do like a hot take. Like, all right, so if you really want to think about your other customer base, people that have already bought from you,
Hmm.
think about what the majority of, like, maybe a conglomeration of um, the age range and where they're at, the stage in life, what are they doing, right?
Right.
So you should be thinking about, if they just bought a house, a lot of times they're buying a new car too. How do I connect with an automotive dealership to show the process? Okay, you bought the house. This is the house process. Now, a lot of people are thinking about car. Well, this is how the process works, and I have a person for that for you.
Yeah.
Okay, you have your house now, and now I need to furnish it. Okay, well, let's get a collaboration with Bob's Furniture. Hey,
Mm.
I'm Chris Wright. I know that a lot of people buy their house and they have no idea where to go to buy furniture.
Let me
Maybe you're
write that
bringing
down. I
some.
like that.
maybe you don't know how to decor. Like, there's so much, like, and I think a lot of furniture stores actually have, I think they have salespeople too. So you kind of see where this is going.
Yeah.
You're collaborating with other people in the industry. Okay, landscaper. Hey, I know that you just bought your house and the grass is going to look great,
Hmm.
but if you neglect it for the 2 years that you have it, maybe you don't. But I have this person that wants to show you how to keep your lawn nice.
Hmm.
Like, think about the I think about this, like, whenever I see a show, it's usually HDTV.
Yeah.
You know, when I think about TV shows, especially in the dealership, like, predominantly all I'm seeing is HGTV because it's nice family friendly content that you
Hmm.
don't have to worry whether or not it's going to blah, blah, blah. So
Right.
now, as a real estate agent, okay, my maybe my customer base loves to make flowers, or maybe they're
Right.
trying to do a garden. Well, here, let me show you. I have a person for that. We're going
Hmm.
to show you how to put a garden in your backyard. Now, you're still a part of realty. You're still doing all that. And that's that side. Now you go to like the mid funnel, lower funnel, and now you're like, okay, we're posting houses. Now you're going to talk to your insurance agents. You're going to talk to your lawyers. What's the process look like? What should I expect? Like, think about the person who's trying to buy a house for the first time that's never bought a house.
Right.
Or maybe that's not the demographic that you're going for. Maybe you're looking for the person who's bought two, three. Maybe they're looking for a separate home. You have to think of all of these people that are coming to you for a house. Think about the majority of your customer base, and also think, and this is where people kind of go awry in terms of branding and things like that.
Hmm.
Everyone says, I want to sell to everybody. I
Right.
want to sell your mom, your cat, your dog. But at the end of the day, you really don't.
Right.
And I will let that sink in, because you have to understand that people don't want to work with you. And
Right.
that's okay.
That's okay. That's
people
okay.
people don't want to work with you, and that's okay. There's so much opportunity, especially in the market,
Mhm.
for someone to go somewhere else. And you know, sometimes you have to, like, I just don't think we're a good fit. And that's okay.
That's okay. So, like,
And that's
what?
the content you should make.
Thank you. That's awesome. I appreciate that, man. So, what are some of the challenges that people face content creation? Like, how do you overcome some of those challenges? So, we talked about fear. Some people just
Yep.
don't like the camera. Sometimes I know when you're at the dealership, you might run into service and go, now, maybe I don't know. So, do you actually plan out your content, or do you run into the service department and go, "Hey, Tony, we're going to make a video"? How's that work?
I mean, I go to the professionals,
Mm,
the people that do it day in and day out.
okay.
And we'll bring this over back to real estate. Like, you're the expert. What are you the expert on?
Hmm.
What do you know most about? What can you talk about that you wouldn't flinch twice at? And the other thing
Right.
that I like to talk about, especially if you're a real estate agent,
Hmm.
is that you're talking to people every day already.
Right.
What's the difference?
Right.
Right?
Right.
When you can be your authentic self and be your brand,
Hmm.
a friend of mine likes to say, don't try to put square foot in round shoes. Like, you. Put on the shoes that fit.
Hmm.
Be your authentic self, and you will attract who you want to do business with. And that's kind of what because I help salespeople brand themselves as well,
Yeah.
and I try to relay that same information to them. I'm
I
like,
see some
okay,
I see horrible content and horrible commercials. I'm like, hey, I'm Joe with the ABC Auto Group, and I can't now wait to work with you. Come out to our dealership, and I'm like, bro, just get away from the camera because you're killing me.
yeah, and that's the thing is like, but that there might be someone out there's like, I don't want someone that's super high energy. Maybe I want someone that's monotone and like and is thinking more on the analytical side.
Right. Interesting.
So
So
that person's obviously not for you.
no, they're not. They're definitely not for me because you know I'm already high. I'm high
Oh
energy
yeah.
myself.
Oh no, I know.
So you talked about audiences a little bit ago, and like the
Yeah.
people that are watching your content and the people that you resonate with. Um, how do you determine? Okay, basically, I know you have analytics, but how do you
Yeah.
determine what's working, what's not working, what should I change, and what direction to go in?
So, I mean, the major key performance indicators or KPIs
Hmm.
for those that don't understand the acronym,
Yeah.
you want to really look at engagement.
Hmm.
And engagement is not necessarily going to be a like or a comment or a share. It's going to be the fact that someone clicks on a photo, the fact that they scroll through.
Hmm.
Um, I think that's one thing that a lot of people miss is Facebook looks and sees how long you stay, or any social media for that matter.
YouTube
They're
does
gonna,
also. Yeah.
yeah, they're all gonna see how long, what's the retention on whatever it is that they're looking at. Are they looking at photos? Is it a video? Is it a meme? Is it a graphic? Is it just text? Like on LinkedIn, is someone reading your article?
Hmm.
There's so many things, and I think a lot of us get um carried away with the fact that, oh my gosh, only 3 people liked my post. Well,
Yeah.
my wife does not like my wife will never give you a like. She'll never change the emotion, but she will look at your content. And there's a lot of videos she's like, have you seen this video? I'm like, no, did you share it with me? No.
You know what's funny?
Okay.
It's you know what's
Did you
funny?
save it? No.
I
All
tell
right.
people ask me, Nathaniel, they say, and by the way, what do people call you? Nathaniel, Nate, or Nathan? What do people call you?
Nathaniel's great. I love Nathaniel.
I
You
like
know, I
Nathaniel too.
love
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I didn't
Nathaniel or
shorten your
Nate,
name.
whatever you want to call me.
Yeah,
We're
people
friends.
ask me
We're
Chris or
friends.
Christopher. What
You
do you
could call me
answer to?
Billy Bob Joe for all I care. We're still friends.
Anyway, so Nathaniel, it's so funny because I tell people, they go, how do you where do you have time for all this social media you do? And I say, I'm a poster, not necessarily a scroller. I post and
Mhm.
go. But that's not fair to everybody, and I shouldn't always say that because I want people to look at my stuff. So I've gotten in the habit of actually posting and scrolling a little bit. We don't have a lot of time in our lives, so we can't
Yeah.
get stuck scrolling. Anyway, just like your wife, sometimes I'll see a pretty engaging Facebook post or TikTok, and I'll go, "That was awesome," and I'll keep going. And I say, "You know what? I should probably go back and like that because I think about myself, and I like to see my
Yeah.
TikTok hearts. I want to see 14, 114,
Yeah.
1,014, and that really gets me pumped up to keep it going. If I only see one like, but that doesn't mean you're right. I may have 520 views on a TikTok, but only 3 likes. So I would like
Yeah.
people to go back and hit that heart for me, so I know that what I'm doing is engaging. So kudos to your wife, but tell your wife to like some of that stuff because we need it. It's our egos that are huge.
Yeah. And back to the notion of posting, not scrolling.
Yeah.
I think you do. You
Hmm.
do scroll because if I know anybody who's posting, they're also looking.
Yeah.
And it's not to like, it's not just to aimlessly scroll, but it's to look for possible content. Hold on one second. What's up, darling? Not right now. In a minute, okay?
Is that
That's my
is
daughter.
that your baby?
Yeah, that's my daughter.
How old is she?
She's 3.
Oh, that's awesome. Great age. Great age.
So
Young
back
enough to
to,
not.
yeah, so like a lot of times what I'm doing,
Mhm.
and you know, I am a reactionist. So like I'll go. I'm gonna call that. I like that. I'm a social media
Reactionist.
reactionist. Like I'll go and I will purposely go and on my whole feed and just like if I see it, I like it. I see it, I like it because that's just who I am as a person.
Right.
But there's people that don't want to be noticed. People
Mm-hmm.
don't want to be seen. They want to feel like they're ghosts, even though we aren't. But uh, but that's the thing is that you have to consume content to make good content.
Right.
Because if you're trying to figure out what people are liking, chances are that it's being made already. So take a look and see who's reacting to what, how are they reacting,
Yeah.
and see what people are sharing, saving, all of those, and what is the structure of it. For a video, what's the first 3 seconds like? How's it bringing value in the first 3 seconds so that someone's going to be like, oh, maybe that does pertain to me. Let me watch a little bit more.
Right.
Or what's the caption on it?
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of where social media, yes, can you post something that will make you viral regardless, as long as the story comes through? 100%.
Right.
But at the same time, you have to understand who's watching. You have to understand, and this is where social media management comes in. This is where having a full-time content creator on your side helps out because they're making the content for you.
Mm.
They're helping scroll, so you don't have to do all of that manual labor to see what's going on
Right.
and understand your authenticity, what kind of audience you're attracting, who, what are the latest trends,
Mm-hmm.
and what's actually working. That's really where a professional social media management person comes in and says,
Right.
"Hey, I noticed there's a lot of people like this on your profile.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is something that us as an automotive dealership, we're looking at our audience.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at my audience across the board, and Chevrolet is 70% men and 30% women. So I
Right.
need to change my content to fit 70% men, 30% women,
Right.
right? Whereas my Honda store is 50-50.
That's
So
awesome.
so you
So
got to you got to find out who you're actually attracting and make that content work for them.
so some people, most people just throw pasta against the wall and see what sticks, right? But is there like one or two? Can we share with the audience one, two to three analytics or data, type softwares that they could have just to measure their performance?
So if you're on Facebook and you have a business page, you can take a look at it right on the insights.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need any fancy. It will take a little bit longer to see the insights,
Mm-hmm.
but you can do it on any of the platforms natively as long
Yeah.
as it's a business profile.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the conspiracy of making the pay to play as soon as you go business, which if you really want to dive deep, like that's what it takes, I guess,
Yeah.
to go business profile, so you can
Mm-hmm.
actually see who you're attracting.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you're really looking for something to help, I mean, there's a bunch out there.
Well, just some of
We
your
use
favorites. Not a lot. I know you probably know a lot, but because
so
I'm a
there's like
YouTuber,
four
I
main ones
search
that I've
everything.
used.
Which one?
I've there's four that I've used. So
Okay.
if you're like looking for the Cadillac top tier, you want to see the world and the moon and all the stars past, Andromeda. Um, Sprout Social is really up there. Like that's top notch right now.
What's
And
it
then
called again?
you're Sprout Social,
Sprout. Okay.
and then you also have Hootsuite,
Mm-hmm.
which is has been the big dog for the longest time. I mean, they stay in there,
Yeah.
and their analytics are good. We use Hootsuite. I
Mm-hmm.
went from Sprout to Hootsuite just because it's wicked expensive
I
for
know.
exactly what I want. We
What's more
have
expensive, Sprout or Hootsuite?
Sprout.
Sprout is more
If
expensive than
so,
Hootsuite
it's
because I
it's
thought
more
Hootsuite was
expensive.
expensive.
What's up?
I thought Hootsuite was expensive, but you're saying Sprout is
Hootsuite,
more expensive.
yes, it
Okay.
is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I beat Hootsuite up on a price, but that price per year is the price we have to pay,
Okay.
for the fact that we want unlimited profiles as we start to build and increase our um, our Mohawk entities. We have a wrap shop, we have a Chevrolet store, a Honda store, a collision center. All of those have 6 plus social medias they're on. So
Okay.
you usually pay per platform that you're on.
Hmm.
So if you're only on Facebook or Instagram, and or if you're on all of them, you know, 10 profiles is not going to be the end of the world for you. It's
Right.
when you start to become more of an agency. If there's a Chris Wright Realty out there, and he has all of his real estate agents together, and they want to run social media, and you're going to help them, then you would consider going that agency style where they can see all of their numbers across all the platforms, and they can hire somebody out to post for them and all that fun stuff. But if you're just on the 7 platforms yourself, it's there's a bunch of other ones. There's Metricool, which is a good one.
Hmm.
Sendable, I hear a lot of good things about. A buddy of mine uses that, and Rallyo I've used.
Okay.
So
All right. Well, that's
those are
enough.
those are Rallyo, Metricool, and Sendable are definitely the more affordable options for individuals that want to see it.
Okay, that's good to know
But it just
because, like I
won't
said,
the metrics won't be there like a couple days later than you would want.
yeah.
Whereas, because Hootsuite's been around and Sprout Social's been around, Sprout Social's been around for a while. They have, they're talking to all the major social platforms and have those APIs down. So
Right. So,
that's what you get.
that's good information. We don't want to overwhelm people with technology because they'll get out. But I want them to know the reason I asked that question is because throwing pasta against the wall does work for a little while, but what happens is you get demotivated and you stop doing it. And I just think you got to keep doing it and find out what works over a long period of time. I look at people's TikTok page that follow me, and then what will happen is um, they'll do 4 videos but no more. They've given up, and
Mhm.
I just want to. I think if people could know what to do and how to do it, they might have that more success. So speaking of that, one of the reasons that people don't do video or don't do social media is because they say I look fake or I want people to know who I am. So what recommendations can you give to people to stay authentic, true to themselves, and you just have to navigate these pressures of social media. Like she's really good and I'm not as good as her. And how come she has 10,000 followers and I have 4? Talk to me about how getting people motivated for that.
So at the end of the day, it's all about the story. What story are you telling,
Mm-hmm.
right? Who are you?
Right.
You really have to know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
If you're trying to be serious on social media, you're trying to be a business on social media, you're trying to build the audience
Right.
and be successful, you have to know who you are.
Okay.
And when I sit down with, do I have it here? No, I thought I might have had it. When I sit down with the salespeople, and I help them to build their brand, the number one thing that I have them they start with is, I have this packet. It's called the Road to Sales
Okay.
branding, and they sit down, and I have them. Actually, do I have a pen? See if I have. I could do it right here, ad hoc for us.
Okay.
If I have. All right. So what I would do, I have a blank sheet of paper here. I have a highlighter. So here we
Nice.
go.
You good to go?
I have a good to go. I have them draw a grid
Mm-hmm.
like this. Let's see.
Okay. Yeah, I see it. Yep. I see it. You have lines there. Oh, okay. Like boxes. Yeah, there you go.
Yep. And you see the lines up top, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see the lines down here.
Yep.
What I do is, on this bottom line, I have them write down all of the things that set them apart.
Okay.
Then up here, I have them write their competition
Okay.
up here.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the boxes, whoops. Yeah, it's moved over a little bit. I have them put an X to see if their competition would say the same thing.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Because everybody says, best experience, blah, 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 all that fun stuff.
Right.
Everybody says that. So I really help them dive into how.
Hmm.
How do you give them the best experience?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, Chris Wright's going to go up against another, Chris Wright in the market, and he's going to be like, well, I got energy and I make sure you have the best experience. Okay. Well, how do you do that?
Okay.
The Chris Wright way. Okay, what's the Chris Wright way? See, and that's kind of where brand comes into play, because you have to know, who are you? What are your strengths? What do you do? And obviously, there's a bajillion human beings.
Right.
But the bottom line is that you have to know who you are at the end of the day, and that's kind of how this kind of plays out. It's like, what is the process of how the person has the best experience with
Right.
you? What
Hmm.
is the experience like, and what should they expect? And
Right.
that's what you're doing. You're helping someone really come up to, okay, my name's Nathanael Greklek. I help someone buy the best. I have someone. Um, I'm just going to go with, if I was selling cars, I'm going to give them the best experience because I know my processes, and now I'm going to be a product expert.
Hmm.
I'm going to be able to answer any questions you have, and I'm going to walk you through this right alongside you. My phone's always on, my heart's always open, and if
Hmm.
you need help, I'm here to help. And the way that you present that story, the way that you present how their experience is going to look, is how the experience will resonate, and how you will resonate as a brand. So we start with all of those, right? And then we start to go in, okay, well, how do you do this, do this, do that, do this? And then I have them pick 3 demographics that they want to go for.
Hmm.
Sally Mae, she is married, 35, 2 kids, drives an Equinox 2024. She really cares about safety. Okay. So now I know who I am. I know how I'm going to give them the best experience. But now I know who my customer is. And
Hmm.
that is how I can make my content.
Right.
Now I can say, hey, did you know that this Equinox is IIHS top safety
Uh-oh, you froze.
braking?
Okay.
Oh, am I back yet?
You back.
All right. So then you could talk about all the safety features that come on the vehicle.
Okay.
Flip that over to realty. Who's buying this? Who's buying this house? All right, this is going to be. Let's talk about Jessica. She just graduated. She got a brand new job. She's a professional, and she wants to buy a house.
Hmm.
How many times have you sold to a Jessica? I'm asking Chris because I want to see. I want to try to help you out here.
Oh, you
How
have
many
you. Oh, so you were
how many
asking me
have you
really?
sold to a Jessica before?
Right.
She's a professional. She's by herself, but she wants to buy her own house.
Right. I don't know. You that could possibly be multiple. I mean, she'll be a repeat customer, don't you think?
Right, but what is she looking for in a house? Typically, when you meet Jessica, what are her like? What does she want out of a house?
All right. So describe Jessica again one more time.
Jessica is, let's say, she is a 30-year-old professional,
Hmm.
single, not married,
Oh.
has a good job.
Hmm.
She, yeah, she's looking for a house.
So depending on where we are, whether it's city or maybe we're in an area like we are, Jessica might not be looking for anything too small or too large. She does definitely doesn't want a lot of routine maintenance like a large lawn, because she works a lot and she doesn't want too much land property around her house. She might
Perfect.
want maintenance free like a condo or some type of self maintaining type house. She wanted to be safe because she's concerned about her safety, things like that.
Perfect. So now, um, let's go a little bit deeper. Okay, now she's looking for a condo,
Hmm.
and now you're gonna make content about this condo.
Yeah.
Okay, this condo is for sale. Cool. What specifically are you going to talk about when you show this condo on social media? Like, hey, I know you're a working professional. You don't have a lot of time on your hand. So I wanted to show you this condo that has limited amount of landscaping, but just enough for it to look nice.
Right.
You know, how can you keep And then it's like now you have, okay, I know I don't have a lot of time.
Hmm.
This is going to fit what my day this is what my life looks like at the moment.
Right.
And now you're talking more about the storyline of, hey, I know you're a working professional, you don't have a lot of time on your hands, and these key features of this house or this condo, you're not going to have to worry about maintenance. You're not going to
Right.
have to worry about this or this.
Yeah.
And now there you go. And now after she buys the condo,
Hmm.
hey, I know you're a working professional. I actually know this laundromat that will do a discount for you because you know me. You won't have to fold your own clothes.
Yeah.
Your clothes will be done. They'll drop them off. They'll pick them up for you.
Hmm.
Hey, you need dry cleaning? I got a place for that.
That's good stuff.
It's like
So you tailor the content to the people or the target audience,
correct.
as opposed to saying I'm trying to make content for everybody. You pick your
And
pockets.
I mean, a byproduct of that is that other people will see it,
Yeah.
right? But if Jessica is the one that you're trying to attract the most,
Hmm.
if she's the buyer that you want the most,
Yeah.
then make content for that
Right.
because that's how the algorithms work on social
Right.
media. That's how
Right.
they work. Algorithms are gonna. I love when people are like, oh, they switched the algorithm.
Hmm.
And yes, there is some validity to that. But at the
Right.
end of the day, the algorithm will show you what you want.
Okay.
So if you're making content to what people want, it will show up in their feed.
There you go. I
That's
agree.
it.
So, negative feedback, it's the biggest detractor from people doing social media. The comments. Don't read the comments. I'm sure you've done posts and people go, Mohawk sucks, right? You're like, okay, I gotta ignore that. Otherwise you'll get stuck into that whole rabbit hole.
I mean, it goes back to you're not going to please everybody.
Right.
And as a professional, you know that,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But what you can do is if you've tried everything, you've literally done everything.
Mm-hmm.
Your integrity is really what's on the line here.
Right.
This is what they're saying. You're saying you're a terrible person. Is really what
Right.
they're trying to say because you might have done something wrong, and that's okay. And that's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. We're all human beings,
Mm-hmm.
but it's how you react.
Right.
It's not to say that you're going to go into a full long, well, you've done this to me. And like, you never want that thread to go
Right.
anywhere other than
Right.
that.
Yeah.
But what you can say is on there, is, hey, I'm really sorry you had a bad experience. We tried everything we could. If
Right.
there's anything else that I can do to help you out, please feel free to reach out to me. You already have my number.
Right.
If they're a customer, if they're a customer that you try to help, it just didn't work out.
Right.
Like that's what we have to do sometimes. We do it. We have to do it on our
Yeah.
pages all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We try our best. We really do. We try our best to please every single customer. Our slogan is we go out of our way to please you. But if we can't, it literally means we tried everything.
Right.
That makes sense and
Mm-hmm.
business sense. Like
Right.
you can't give someone a free house. It's just not going to happen. We can't just give free cars away. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
We just can't do that. Or we would never be in business.
Yeah.
You wouldn't make
It's
anything.
but
You
that's
can't just give
that's the
up your
biggest thing
commission
people
because you have to
worry
live.
about. They worry about if I do video, if I put myself out there, I'm opening myself up to criticism. Little things like, yeah, shut up, you're fat. Like, it's and that's
At that point, you can't like that. It's like
I know, but here's
that's
the
just,
thing. People could get literally people could get 150 comments. Great, congratulations, you're awesome. Can't wait to work with you. Then one person will go, "You're the worst," and that's the one they'll remember.
and you know what? When that happens, you
Hmm.
have to have empathy for that person
I agree.
because you don't know what caused them to make that.
Right.
Hurt people hurt people. Have you ever heard that slogan?
I have. I just recently heard that a couple of days ago. Hurt people,
And
hurt people.
that's where you have to, there's obviously something going on.
Hmm.
So what can you do?
Right.
Like you just have to see it from other people's perspectives. And we're not going to get it right all the time. It's just not
No,
going to happen.
you're
And it's something that
absolutely
I
right.
struggle with too. Like I'm not perfect. I'm just going to throw that out there. Like
Yeah.
I mess up all the time. I feel that way sometimes like, oh my gosh, what if they don't like me? But at the same time, what about all the people that do like you?
Hmm. So here's something like when people ask me, oh, Chris, I can't do content. I don't have time to do content. And I go, how much are you prepping? And I don't want people to prep. I want people to pick up their phone, turn it around to themselves, and hit record and go for it. Because what I find out is the more you prep, the the, the more likely you won't do it. Okay,
Analysis
so
paralysis.
yeah, analysis paralysis. So what I say is turn that camera around, just go, hey, I'm in front of this house on 1306 Main Street. Here's what's going on with it. Here's who I am. Don't care about your hair. I don't care about your makeup, your lipstick, your clothes. Let's go.
Right.
And I do know that women are up against different types of perceptions than men.
Yeah.
Yeah, men can go out there in coveralls and dirty jeans and ball cap to the back and just do a video where a lot of ladies are more concerned about, oh my God, that's my good side or my bad side. But
Mhm.
let's help them a little bit, Nathaniel. How can you help them saying, hey, let's go, let's just do it. People are going to
You
hire you
don't.
because they like you.
So as you're talking about that, I was thinking about like doing a house walkthrough
Hmm.
and like walking through a house. What are things that you notice? You don't have to always be on camera.
Right.
There's 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 whole channels of people who people only see your hands. Like,
Yeah. I
you
love
don't
hand
always have to
models.
be on you don't always have to be on camera,
Right.
but I will say if you're a real estate agent,
Hmm.
people are going to watch you.
Yeah.
And I would venture to ask, are you ready for work?
Hmm.
If you're afraid to be on camera when you're at a listing, are you ready for work? Because if you don't want people to see you on social media, but you want people to see you as you're showing a house, there's a little confliction there because
Yeah.
then it's like, w- are you actually ready for work?
True.
And I
True.
was
That's good.
literally like,
That's a
here's
huge point. I
here's
love that.
here's a thing that I literally thought about when you're at a home showing, right?
Hmm.
There's so much content that I could think about.
Right.
All right, we'll just like, hey, I'm at this house. I see this. Typically, people love styles this way. Like, what's the overall trend, right?
Hmm.
Like, because there's one thing that I'd never know
Yeah.
is like, oh, hey, look at this house. I couldn't tell you if it's a colonial, flat,
Right.
Dutch, like,
Yeah.
but like I don't think I've ever. I might have. They might have been on
Right.
there, but I've never seen a video where someone's like, "Hey, this is a colonial house, and this is because it. This is why.
Hmm.
This is a Dutch house. This is why. This has French inspiration here. This has
Right.
all of this over here. This is a countertop that you don't typically see, or you typically see this in a house that's this old or this old, or there's so much that you
Yeah.
could even just create.
Yeah.
Not right
Yeah.
now.
So okay, so we're almost to the end, but I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
How do I go about hiring a content creator? Because I'm lost. I don't have the bandwidth to think about that. How do I go about hiring one?
I guarantee if you put on your Facebook page or on any social media, it's like, hey, I'm looking to hire a social media manager, content creator for my real estate.
Hmm.
I can almost guarantee that someone's going to be like, hey, my son does that, or my daughter does that, or even go to a college, like call up academics, be like, hey, I'm looking for an intern that might want to learn
Here's the
realty
problem
and
with
things
that,
like
though,
that.
Nathaniel. People think just because they post on Instagram and TikTok that they're content creators. They're not going into the analytics or the
That's
psychology
true.
of it like we're doing today. They think, oh, I could do your social media, and they absolutely suck at it. I'm,
True.
I'm talking about someone who's experienced at it, someone who has logic behind it, psychology behind it, all that kind of stuff. Those are the people. Because here's what happens: people, companies hire content creators, and they go through them. Oh, this is my third one. So
Mhm.
that's what I'm talking about. How do you find those people?
Well, then you need to set the expectation
Yeah.
or be willing to show them.
Okay.
If they're willing to learn, I would keep them on. And that's
Okay.
one thing that I've really looked at because I was talking to someone the other day. Oh, I was talking to Dr. Patrick McGrath at BHBL High School. And I was like, when I hire somebody, I don't necessarily look at their resume
Right.
because I've gotten interns that literally don't know anything about social, even though
Yeah.
they're in that course. I'm like, what are they actually teaching you?
Mm-hmm.
But if they're willing to learn, if they're willing to take direction
Right.
and bring their own insights to it, I'm game for that all day.
Right. Yeah.
And the thing is that like I didn't go to school for it.
Right.
I went to college with a criminal justice psychology major,
Right.
double bachelor's, like double major.
Right.
I didn't know anything about social media. Well, I mean, I did. I mean, my first my first like I knew there was MySpace,
Yeah.
right, and then Facebook, and then you had the whole gamut. But I didn't know what a engagement was. I didn't
Yeah.
know what all of that was, and
Mm-hmm.
even now, like there's there's a lot of people that like wouldn't know, but they know,
Right.
and
Right.
they've been around it long enough to be like, oh, that's what you're looking for. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's what you're looking for. Okay, and if you're setting the precedent, I mean, create it's not a one-stop shop. It will take some work.
Good.
But I can tell you if you have a videographer or photographer that
Mm-hmm.
can show a story, I mean, the social media will speak for itself and
Right.
you'll just have to make tweaks. And at the end of the day, like the story wins.
So, what about longer content? Doing what I do. Give me some tips for doing that? Whether you want to do a podcast or whether you want to have a YouTube channel where it's not just the 30 to 90-second reel. Tell me, talk to people about that and how you should go about that.
Well, the best part is that with long form content, you can chop it up.
Mm, it's my thing. That's my thing.
Um, Now, when it does get chopped up, you do have to make sure that the hook is right. You have to
Hmm.
make sure that it's going to hit somebody when to what they're looking for.
Right.
Um, and as you're doing the podcast, like
Hmm.
I started a podcast too, and
What's the
it's
name of it? Let's plug it.
it's a 518 grind, aka the grind 18.
Hmm.
Um,
What's the premise?
dri- so I'm getting local entrepreneurs and people of influence,
Okay.
really to dive in and how did they get to where they are?
Hmm.
What are some of the key things? And if someone was looking to get to where they are now,
Hmm.
what advice would you have for 'em?
Okay.
So I'm on episode 4, but here's the thing is that not all of them, they're not even out yet. So I don't
Okay.
have them. I don't have anything. I did post one because I got the clip and I've been testing out um, I've been testing out an AI program that cuts up your long form in
Okay.
about 15 minutes. So I wanted to see how that worked.
Is that
Um,
Opus?
yeah, Opus. Yeah.
That's what I use.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yep.
So, but the thing is that I am partnering with Burnt Hills Boston Lake students
Okay.
to produce it for me.
Oh.
So I'm collaborating with Burnt Hills High School
Hmm.
to help me make content.
Okay.
Collaboration. It's also being driven by Mohawk Auto Group.
Awesome.
So I'm bringing in that collaboration. That's really why I wanted to make it, because I wanted to bring the Mohawk Auto Group
Hmm.
and Burnt Hills High School together.
Nice.
Because now we're collaborating with them. It's going to go through their email chain and all of that stuff. So
Okay.
there's a brand play there, but I really wanted to give them the opportunity to really make something and be a part of, because they don't make podcasts anyway. Long form content, you got to know what it is that you're trying to do,
Okay.
right? Like I have the grind 18. It's for people that are in the 518
Hmm.
that are hustling, right?
Hustling.
That's if you're in upstate New York, you're grinding.
Who was
If
your
you're an
first interview
entrepreneur,
with? I'm just curious. Who was your first interview with?
the superintendent.
Of Burnt Hills, Boston Lake?
Yep,
Okay,
Dr.
perfect.
Patrick McGrath.
Hmm.
Um, Second one was Terry O'Donnell from the radio that
Okay.
you met.
Yep.
Um, Third one,
He's a cool dude too, by the way.
he is. He's really great. Terry
Mhm.
O'Donnell. If you're watching this, I'm gonna share this to you.
Shout out.
You are cool. We love you. Brownie points. Now, cut down my spots. Let's see, and then Kelly Kiley from Kelly Kiley Realty.
Of course, Kelly. Shout out Kelly. I know Kelly. We good.
She's amazing. You know, she actually is the one that helped me buy my houses.
Oh, okay, great. Yep. And
So
she was with another broker back then too, and now she's opened
yes,
her own. Yeah, I
Yep.
remember
So
that.
we went through her whole story, which is really great. I can't wait for that to come out.
Can't wait to see that.
But
So
yeah, that's what I'm doing.
yeah, long form. A lot of people want to do long form. Some people can't wait to get off the camera, so they'll only do short form. So I think we've talked about enough today to get people on both paths. How do we find you, Nathaniel, if we want to ask you some questions, reach out to you, or even hire you? How do we do that?
Well, you can reach me on any of my social medias. You know,
What are they? Share them.
Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok,
They're
X.
everywhere.
If you're still on there,
And he has a very unique name spelled, so if you probably search his last name, you'll find him.
yeah.
Yeah. Any parting words you want to talk to me about?
The brand is you, and be okay with yourself.
All right. Well, Nathaniel, thank you so much for coming on. I'm not sure what are you doing for St. Patrick's Day today.
I'm gonna finish cleaning the house. I'm pretty sure my daughter terrorized the basement while I was on this podcast, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to clean that up.
You have any pets? Dog, cat, anything?
Two cats. Two
Two
cats.
cats. All right. Hey, listen, you enjoy your Sunday. Thanks so much for coming on. I don't know if you even knew this. I didn't tell you. I really should tell people, but this was live today.
Oh yeah, I figured. I see the eyeball in the top left-hand screen.
Yeah.
So shout out
So
to those who are watching.
yeah.
Appreciate you,
So
and
this was
everyone that's
live, but
watching the replay. Thanks.
it will be on YouTube, and I will do reels, and I will be on our podcast, which you can find on all your favorite podcast platforms, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, and all that kind of stuff. And good. So maybe one day I'll be a player in this industry that I'll be on Nathaniel's podcast. We'll see. I'm not there
You
yet. I'm
will
not
be.
ready
You will
yet.
be.
Those people put me to shame. But anyway, thanks so much for coming on, man. And you have a happy Sunday. Kudos to your family. Love to them. All right.
You too. Thanks.
Take care, brother. Enjoy your time.
See ya.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Well, there you have it. Social media content creation. It is hard. People will reach out to me all the time and go, "How do you do it? Can you help me? Can you train me?" I'm like, I really don't really need to. I mean, I can tell you some of the technical aspects of it. I can tell you some of the technology behind it, but I am not you. I can't be you. I can't get you out of bed. I can't make you put the camera up to your face and do it. You just got to do it. I was just watching Top Gun Maverick last night, and this stuck with me. He said, "It's not the plane, it's the pilot." Because Maverick was talking about, oh, F-14 versus fifth generation fighters. And I forgot the guy's name, whoever he was talking, Goose's son. Goose's son, he said, it's not the plane, it's the pilot. Well, it's not the social media content, it's not the platform, it's you, the pilot, it's you that's doing the actual work, the recording, getting in front of the camera, being brave, getting out of bed and doing the social media content. I saw one of my friends in her car the other day. She was doing a video. She goes, I don't like video. I'm scared of video, but I'm going to do this because my coach told me I should do it. But you know what? That's a start. You got to start somewhere. So that's all I have today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something from this. Have any questions, reach out to me. We reach out to Nathaniel Greklek, and we will go from there. Enjoy your St. Patrick's Day. I'm going to eat some cabbage, corned beef, and all that kind of good stuff. You guys take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye. This is the Real Estate Happy Hour, and I'm your host, Chris.